Welcome back. You're still watching Tech Toys. Now, if you're one of those people who take their music seriously and spend a lot of time in the car, then your car audio system is pretty important to you, and you can't just finish the job by bunging in the front panel and hoping your speakers do the rest. There's a professional way of doing car audio. Well, one of our viewers, Gaurav Seth, decided to get his car done up with a fairly decent budget, and he went to the pro, Hermit Audio. And well, they took 6 hours to make sure that his car audio system was just perfect. Let's get some tips from them and see how they did it.
Drum rolls for our car audio expert Ajay Kamath. Person taking the risk with us, Gaurav Seth. Let's kickstart with some tips. Tip number 1. Decide on a budget.
Here are a few things to keep in mind when shopping for your car audio system. Firstly, freeze on a budget. Keep in mind the amount of money that you wish to spend on your music system. It is possible that you might have to extend it a little bit in order to fit everything that you require into that budget. So maybe you might end up spending a little higher than what you expected.
Tip number 2. Finalize on functionality.
You have to decide is the functionality that you desire from your music system. Some people would prefer to have video in their car, some people would just want a pure audio setup that plays only music. Based on these things, the various other components that you require for the music system would also be decided. For example, if you want to go in for video, you would possibly need to buy a couple of video screens and mount them optimally in your car. If you're looking for a pure audio system, the only thing you need is audio equipment like speakers, amplifiers, subwoofers.
Tip number 3. Quality or quantity.
Some people prefer to have it just plain loud. This is common amongst youngsters. The youth want to pack in the most in the music system that they are getting for their cars. They enjoy showing off the music system, turning up the volume and blaring the music system while they're driving around. On the other hand, you have people who have very sober, very relaxed listening taste, who like their music. The focus is more on quality than on on the volume of sound that is being produced.
Tip number 4. Get the parts in and party.
When selecting the individual components, it is not necessary that you have to go with one brand for all the components in that particular music system. For example, if you are buying a Sony, let's say MP3 player, it's not necessary that you have to go in for Sony speakers and a Sony amplifier and a Sony subwoofer. You could select maybe a Pioneer speaker or a Pioneer amplifier, or from some other brand for that matter, which might be more suitable for the music system and for your budget.
Here's the final lineup. Gaurav's budget is between 40,000 to 50,000 rupees, and the car about to get an audio makeover is the Maruti Alto. Gaurav wanted a pulsating audio system, loud enough to annoy his neighbors. Let's move on to the installation process and show you how you can turn your car into one music galaxy. The front dashboard got 6.5-inch Illusion audio speakers, while the 12-inch Ground Zero subwoofers were installed behind the car in the dicky. These 400-watt subwoofers will make any car bounce. Ajay also suggested a Ground Zero 500-watt 4-channel amplifier to augment the sound levels so that everything sounded even. To complete the process, a speaker cable, amplifier wiring kit and RCA cable were used. While Gaurav tests the sound quality, let's do the math for all the components used and see if they fit into his budget. Finally, Ajay had one last tip to throw in. Tip number 5. Power matching.
The other thing to keep in mind is that the individual components that you're selecting in the system should be compatible with each other in a lot of ways. One of them is power, where it does not make sense for you, just because you can afford it, you probably buy a 1000-watt subwoofer, but at the same time you're using an amplifier which is just 100 watts to run it. That's not going to be an ideal match, not the correct combination, and that is not the correct way to put together a system.
All's well that sounds well. Thanks to Ajay, we have a beaming and satisfied Gaurav and a crystal clear car audio system.
Well, if you want to catch those expert audio tips again, you can check out the video on www.tech2.com, completely free of cost, of course. Well, the New York Times' award-winning technology